Every kid has a great story to tell. Have one? Well, we're listening. Send your best story to the New Indian Express's Bookworm Junior Summer Stories Contest, and you could just end up becoming an author over the summer. What are you waiting for? Get writing.
Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science. Take your first step toward a future in excellence.
Hello and welcome to the New Indian Express's Let's Debate. What we very, very firmly and proudly believe is India's largest virtual inter-school debate competition. We're very happy to have a full house with us today. We have kids from all across the country, and somebody who very proudly told me from a very small village in Karnataka, and you know, that really made my day, because that to me is a success of how far and wide Let's Debate has gone. So thank you very much, you guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you for getting ready for the best debate of your lives. At least we hope it's going to be the best debate of your lives. Today with me are two very, very fun judges. Today we have with us Menaka Raman. Menaka is a very, very popular author. She's a columnist. She's been writing for years. And there's one book of hers that I really love. It's Gapukan Dance. If you guys haven't read it, you totally should. Menaka, I don't know what you're working on right now, but I'm super excited to see what's on the cards. Our other judge from within the New Indian Express is, of course, Sonali Shenoy. Sonali Shenoy has been an RJ with Chennai Live 104.8 FM over a decade ago. She's also worked with the New Indian Express for the longest of time. She now works with Indulge. She's a principal correspondent. She writes on music, art, fashion, pets, and a whole lot more. She's also a great published children's author. She had her first book out, The Dog Who Taught Me Math, and her new book is also coming up. What's it called?
It is called What's the Big Secret?
It's called What's the Big Secret, in a bookstore near you very soon. So thank you very much, you guys, for being here. Today, of course, the motion of this debate is school uniforms should be worn in India. That's the motion. And if you agree with it, you will speak for the motion. And if you don't agree with it, you're going to disagree with why school uniforms should be worn in India. All right. So let me now invite our first speaker to speak for the motion. I call Gayatri Patra from the Odisha Adarsha Vidyalaya. Gayatri, when you hear the ping, you can begin your argument.
Namaste, every loving personality. I am Gayatri Patra of class 6 from the school Odisha Adarsh Vidyalaya, Ghatgaon. Thank you for the Indian Express who has given us such a beautiful platform. Here, without killing time, I am coming to the discussion. Anyway, I have to debate for the topic necessity of uniforms in India. So my first point is uniforms give an identify to the school and by the way to the students. For example, Ram belongs to the Bugulu Gulu Gulu school. What is smart dress? Point number 2, it proves the uniformity and equality where you don't find any difference between the rich and poor, black and white, fat and thin, tall and short, boys and girls. So the question of inferiority doesn't arise for class. Hello, I am calling from the Ching Chang dress store. Please tell me the uniform sizes of your students. Are Rama, Amarat, chota chota bachcha hai re. Point number 3. In the higher class, the uniform limits the nudity, which indirectly reduce sexual crime. Point number 4. It brings full stop to the argument of the child with his parents about what is appropriate to wear in school and manages time to prepare for the school. Point number 5, the difference in clothes and styles divides the focus of the children. Uniforms is designed such a way that it brings the least distraction. Point number 6, the children look smart in the uniform, which gives a formal look and prepare them for the future dressing. It develops their dressing sense for different occasions such as formal and informal. Point number 7. They can be money saver for the parents. Listen guys, we are saving a lot of money of our parents wearing the school uniform. Still we are not getting a single pie of money for our gupchup, chocolates and ice creams. Itna कंजूसी, is it justified? Point number 8. It reduces the pressure on kids to wear fashionable, expensive clothes. Hence, it would ensure more attendance and focus in the studies rather than clothing. Point number 9. Uniforms promote the business of the local market or local skills, which supports the dialogue of our Prime Minister, vocal for local. Point number 10. Uniform creates equal feeling in the mind of the teacher for every student, which shares equal love and affection to every student by the teacher. Like Mowgli Dhinchak Dhinchak, Badri Dhinchak Dhinchak, Booth Dhinchak Dhinchak, Mukamba Khus Hua Dhinchak Dhinchak. Point number 10. Uniform creates equal feeling in the mind of the teacher for every student, which says equal love and affection to every student by the teacher. Point number 11. The uniform creates the feeling of one in many. So here I am giving a full stop to my debate. So thank you and bye.
You know, there are debates and then there are performances. Gayatri, that was a performance and I applaud you for that. Let me now quickly call upon the person to open the argument for the opposition. Let me call on Michelle Theophine. Michelle, of course, is from Kerala. She's joining us from Rajagiri Public School. Michelle, on the ping, the floor is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, judges, fellow debaters, and everyone else present here. There are many reasons why children should not be made to wear uniforms in our schools. Let me tell you my top reasons. Firstly, and most importantly, uniforms are oppressive. Uniforms not just make children look alike, it also insidiously conditions young minds to fall in line, think like everyone else, and say what everyone says. It conveys the expectation that being like everyone else is desirable. Instead of conveying the message that differences are valuable, uniforms constantly tell children that their differences are invalid. When we look at the history of modern school uniforms in India, we find that this was exactly why the British introduced uniforms in Indian schools. They wanted to raise a country of laborers that fell in line, obeyed the rules, forgot their individuality, and asked no inconvenient questions. To continue the same colonial system after more than 70 years of India's independence and miss the chance to raise a creative, free-thinking country is totally ridiculous. 2 years back, I got a chance to go to Canada, one of the world's top 5 democracies, and I learned from my friends there that in their schools they are allowed to wear what they are comfortable in. In fact, most of the top ranking democracies don't have school uniforms. It seems countries that value free thinking do not impose any kind of uniformity in their youngest citizens' minds. Secondly, even to this day, most schools in India impose boy-girl uniforms that reinforce gender stereotypes. From the time children enter kindergarten, uniforms tell them boys wear shorts, girls wear skirts. By the time they reach middle school, uniforms tell them boys kick and play, girls sit and play. If any of you thinks that I'm exaggerating a little bit here, let me share with you that in my school, during the PE hours, while boys play football, girls have to play nothing or stand in a circle, feet together, and play dodgeball. And if this is what school uniforms do to girls, can you imagine what it does to gender fluid or intersex children? Gender centric boy girl uniforms, like we have in Indian schools today, make intersex and gender and transgender children feel excluded, invalid, and as if they weren't supposed to be there. In conclusion, I want to say enough of this of uh, trivialization of children's right to be who they are and express themselves freely. Enough of this practice of smothering children's individuality and imposing a fraudulent saneness on everyone. Enough of this lame argument of uniforms for children's safety and human equality. This is all just a farce to hide serious systemic inadequacies and incompetencies. I rest my case. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Michelle. If anybody were to tell you that kids who were 7th grade and below had no business talking about gender, listening to Michelle would have changed that perception in one fell swoop. Thank you so much, Michelle. Let me now invite to speak for the proposition and tell us why school uniforms should be worn in India, Subhalakshmi Mishra.
Namaskar and good evening to all the divine spirits present over here, exchanges, honorable chairpersons, and all my dear loving brothers and sisters. Today I am Subhalakshmi and I am a student of Odisha Adarsh Vidyalaya Sarada, and now I am studying in class 7. Today I am here with you because for only one purpose, to say something about, do we still need to wear school uniforms in India? So let's get started without wasting our precious time. First of all, the main concept is of wearing the school uniform is to maintain the uniformity. And have a school uniform with a student, it gives them a chance to feel a part of one family, irrespective of all the walks of the life they come from. And this also helps the student by washing away and by taking away all their stress from their mind, by thinking and by spending their valuable times by what to wear to go to the school. And it also gives the students their own identity and their unity. And that's why one of the most biggest benefit is of implementing the school uniform. And it also eliminates the discrimination and the mindset also. It also eliminates one thing, that it eliminates school-going students by spending all their valuable times and the precious times by deciding what to wear to go to school today and how can we will look stylish for all the other students in our class and as well as in our entire school. But if we have the school uniform, then it always gives all the students a strict timetable to act at the right time in a proper way and in a proper manner. And that's why, moreover, many of the schools are also selling all the school uniform at the substitute rates, as well as it also helps them to reduce, the cost of price by buying all the expensive clothes for kids. It helps their parents. If there are no school uniforms, then all the parents are seriously bound to buy the expensive wear for their kids, because in this society, no kids are wanted to wear the cheap one, but they always want to wear the expensive and the stylish one. And that's why the schools of our India are also banning the jewelry products, that no students are allowed to wear jewelry products and come to school. And that's why many of the people, however, they also think one thing and also believe in thing, that the stress on one individuality will distract the students from their studies, as well as they can also came to lose their concentration power and their focus on it. And that's why in this way it also helps the parents to focus on their kids, on their studies, and also to invest that money for their kids' future, not to buying any of the unneedy products, only to buy the needy products, those are most needed for their family members. And that's why the students can also stand by the side of their uniform by saying that I have my identity because I am a student. And that's for today. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you so much. That was really great. After my days reading Enid Blyton, this is the first time I've heard the word proper said so many times in a debate. Thank you so much, Subbalakshmi. Let me now invite Aditya A. Gaikwad, who's from the RM Shah Public School. Aditya will be speaking against the motion. Welcome, Aditya.
Hello everyone, I am Aditya Gaikwad from class 7. I live in a small village called Indi in Bijapur. I am studying in RM Shah Public School and I am here to represent them. So my ideas, my perspective against the uniforms in India, the points goes like this. The points go like this. Uniforms are too costly nowadays because uniform is not just a matter of recognition of the particular school. It is the matter of fashion nowadays. Many of the schools are having school uniforms such as blazers and ties, and in extreme climatical conditions, many of the students are feeling uncomfortable in their clothes. The students should get a proper comfort in their clothes, and they should be feeling happy. Nowadays in everywhere there is too much of heat, so and children also nowadays get truly exhausted when they come home. They get only relaxed when they change their clothes and come into their comfortable attire. Why can't we just do like this, that we can let them come to the school with their comfortable attire so that they could concentrate on studies more? Wearing different kinds of colored dresses, wearing different kinds of dresses, another none other than uniform, can show the diversity of the taste of the students' art. Whatever they like, what kind of art they like, what kind of embroideries, what kind of wordings they like, that can be shown through the diversity nowadays in the school. Even this is given in the Constitution of India as an Article 14 and 21. These two are the main, they give the fundamental rights to the people regarding everybody should have their own freedom. They can do whatever they want, they can wear whatever they want, and they can be whatever they want. And if the point comes on the unnecessary kinds of clothes, like the tore jeans, the ready-made that we get nowadays, we can put the limit or barriers on these civil dresses that are available right now in the market. We should only get a particular kind of comfortable clothes for the students. Nowadays, even in the schools, there are gatherings only one day. There is only one day of traditional day, there is only one day for fancy dress. But if we wear colored clothes every day would be a traditional day. We can learn many things about our friends family background, we can learn about culture, we can learn about many other things, their feelings, their taste of art, their taste of clothes. We can learn many more things, and that can be done with the help of their comfortableness of clothes. Let's not go too far. Let's take the ideal school, the ideal country for education, Finland. Finland has no barriers for uniforms, and as my fellow sister told that in many of the schools uniforms are not applied. Even in America's Constitution's First Amendment, it is given that everybody has the freedom to wear whatever they want. And we are combining all the children, their extraordinariness, together uh, uh, to make them look like same. But what we should do is bifurcate them together, and they should live their own life with their own kind of art, with their own comfort zone, and that would lead to a diverse future mind with a billions of souls. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aditya. You know, what's particularly impressive is when you talked about how uncomfortable, school uniforms can be when they don't match the weather of the region. I could have sworn that I saw Gargi Tapa, who's on the opposition, nod his head very perceptibly. There, I can see him laughing now. And on that note, let me now invite Vanshika Jalani from Sardar Patel Vidyalaya to present her views for the topic.
I'm Vanshika. I'm in 7th grade and I'm studying in Sardar Patel Vidyalaya. So why should we wear school uniform? There are a lot of reasons like why should we wear school uniform. So uniform indicates like which school we belong. when we wear, like when students wear the same clothes, it like not brings us a unhealthy competitive feeling that like we look ridiculous. School uniforms make it easier to like get ready for school. If we would have wear like anything, it would have very difficult to choose what you are wearing and what you are not. And if we go a place to learn, like our schools, we should be dressed well in our uniform. It brings out our motto of life. And by wearing uniform, it also like brings us in a mood. Like for nowadays, we are like stuck at home. We are not able to go out, and sometimes on like our school days or in online classes, like I wear my uniform. It like suddenly get me a feeling of I'm in my school with my teachers and my friends, and that's why I think we should wear uniform.
Thank you so much, Vanshika. It's very interesting that you brought up how being spoiled for choice can be actually a bad thing. Shaurya Swaran, let's have you speaking against the motion then.
Good evening, everyone. When you put a uniform, there are certain inhibitions that you accept. People will not be able to show their taste or passion. Let's say there was a girl who was always wanted to become a fashion designer. But can't because her school doesn't allow clothes but school uniform. All of these examples come from American students, teachers, etc. Most of them are grumpy. As USA is a developed country and is well known for its freedom of uniforms in schools. They teach us about struggles for equality, but don't make a change for it. Chicago junior high student Carlos Sumter wrote in Huffington Post, they decide to teach us about poor people like Rosa Parks, Susan B. Anthony, and Booker T. Washington. We learn about how these people expressed themselves and conquered, and we can't even express ourselves in the hallways. Okay. Troy Schumann, a senior in Hartford County, Maryland, said the introduction of a mandatory uniform policy to his school would be, quote, teaching conformity and squelching individual thought. Just think of prisons and gangs. The ultimate socializer to crush rebellion is conformity in appearance. If a school system starts at codes, where does it end? Must have been fired. Same places have also been badly affected by the introduction of school uniforms. Tony Volk, PhD, associate professor at Brock University, stated, quote, overall, there is no evidence in bullying literature that supports a reduction in violence due to school uniforms, unquote. A peer-reviewed study found that, and I quote, school uniforms increase the average number of assaults by about 14 in the most violent schools, unquote. A Texas Southern University study found that school discipline incidents rose by about 12% after the introduction of uniforms. According to the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Education, Evaluation, and Management, fights in middle schools nearly doubled within 1 year of introducing mandatory uniforms. Another reason for school uniform to be removed is utils. Utils is a unit for happiness. Let's play a game of Would You Rather? Ting, ting, ting. Would you rather buy a t-shirt of your favorite Marvel superhero but is expensive, or buy a plain t-shirt which is cheap? Let me give you an advice. Choose the first option because that makes you much more happy than a plain t-shirt. If you buy the t-shirt of your favorite superhero, you will gain utils. But if you buy the other plain one, it will decrease your utils. Another thing is popularity. No matter how you gain popularity and become famous, you have to wear the best uniform. If you want to show that you were the one gaining success without your school's help, why wear your school uniform? If you wear your school uniform, it will show that the reason for your success was your school, even though they had nothing to do with it. In the future, we can say that not only will India get an opportunity to become a developed country, they will be able to give children some freedom, something that is repeatedly said in the Constitution. Thank you.
You know, I've heard of slam poetry. This is the first time I've heard of slam debating. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me now call on Arya Ganesh to try and undo the damage done by Shaurya Swaran. Arya will be speaking against the motion. Arya, when you hear the beep, you can take it away.
Good evening, respected judges. I am Arya Ganesh of Class 7 from JCS Public School, speaking against the topic. Do we still need to wear school uniforms in India? School uniforms. The same dress repeated each and every day in our lives. School uniforms are very monotonous and boring due to its repeated usage. If we pay closely attention to this topic, it states, do we still need to wear school uniforms in India? The usage of still needs a revisit in these times. In this modern world, present-day generations are much independent than the previous generations. That is, the students here now don multiple hats of responsibilities. That is, they are clear decision makers of their choice of hobby, choice of friends, and why not extend it to the choice of clothing? If we give children the autonomy to decide what suits them to wear, of course, a respectable wear, then they will enjoy school much more than we think, isn't it? Now let's look at the practical aspects of a school uniform. Not every mass-produced commodity fits each and every body type. That is, nowadays, tailors are stitching the clothes very tight, even if you give the right size, and it may not suit each and every body type. Now let's look at the financial aspects of a school uniform. The cost of a school uniform is 1/3 the cost of a laptop, which aids in online education. Due to this unprecedented time, many children are attending their classes through online education. And of course, due to the increasing number of cases, online classes are going to continue. So there is no necessity of school uniform at all. Also, the money spent on school uniform can be spent on other resources. I would like to also state that not only school uniforms shows our identity, but there is also an ID card which shows our identity. Now let's look at the comfort zone of a school uniform. India, being in the equator belt, receives heat almost throughout the year. So imagine a child wearing a blazer under the hot scorching sun. Wouldn't it be difficult for him? Are we doing justice here? Also, many schools have 4 house colors. They are bright yellow followed by a green, blue and a red. Do you mean to say all the children like only these 4 colors? No, we are not colorblind. Also, I would like to conclude my statement saying that let children be given the autonomy and choice to decide under certain conditions, and they will enjoy school much more than we think. Respected judges, thank you for hearing me out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Arya. That was extremely good. Let me now call upon my friend in the sharp red blazer, Gargi Thapa from the Rockwell Academy in Kalimpong, will be speaking for the motion. Gargi?
Good evening to all now present here. I'm Gargi Thapa and I'm from a small town called Kalimpong from Darjeeling district, and I'm representing Rockwell Academy. And today I'm speaking for the topic that is, do we still need to wear school uniforms in India? When we talk about school uniforms, we envision a school student dressed up neatly in a set of shirt and trousers or a skirt as the case might be, with a tie placed around nicely around their neck, and depending on this decorum, a school blazer with the logo on top left of the pocket. This feels, looks, and sounds really smart, well dressed, and sophisticated. Many schools in India have school uniform, and we believe that wearing a school uniform actually benefits a lot. First and foremost, most of my opponents mentioned this about the uniformity. The main concept of having a uniform is to maintain uniformity among the students. Having a uniform in school makes the child feel it's a part of the family, irrespective of different walks of they come from. They get the feeling of unity and oneness. School uniform also is a sense of spirit and lead to solidarity among the students from different caste, religion, creed, and culture. So I guess there would be no point of being discriminated in a school, but we do have it. So wearing a uniform is a school is a symbol of dignity, and it creates a unique identity for all the students. Uniform prepare us for the time when we will step into the real world, and we will have to be professionals and also have the requirement of putting a formal clothes on. Students and parents do not have to worry about peer pressure, financial pressure, or any inferiority complex as everyone is dressed in the same way. There's no rivalry about who is dressed in the classiest or expensive or fashionable attire. Hence, the uniform is a great leveler as it levels all the students in the same par, like they're at the same level. So there's no form of rivalry between anyone or any student. Wearing a uniform also eliminates the need of spending their valuable time to thinking about what they should wear or how they can look stylish. This ensures that the students reach school on time and they don't have to make silly excuses for being late on school. Wearing a uniform also means that the students have a daily timetable, like a proper timetable which they can follow and also eat their breakfast on time. The concept of your school uniform has been an old concept. I agree to that. This is done to avoid the child becoming conscious of their appearance or looks at a very early age. On the flip side of the school uniforms is what they say is it lacks creativity and expression among children. However, the schools make up to that by encouraging the students through academic creativity. Many academics also state that the school uniform restrict children from being themselves. However, many also believe that their studies that the stress on individuality may distract students from their studies and cause them to lose focus. School uniforms in India have been an essential part of academics. Students have created a sense of ownership and loyalty towards their school uniform and display it proudly. So I would like to conclude it by saying that wearing a school uniform benefits in developing the personality of a student. So we should still wear school uniforms in India. Thank you.
Let me now invite our last speaker to speak against the motion, Siddhant Sendekar, if you will, to tell us why we don't need school uniforms in schools in India. Siddhant, when you hear the beep, floor is yours.
Good evening to all the esteemed judges and my dear friends. I'm Siddhant Sendekar and I'm from Royal Global School, Guwahati, Assam. So I'm speaking for against the motion, do we still need to wear school uniforms in India? I think so. We should it's okay. We shouldn't wear school uniforms in India because, firstly, I want to say that school uniforms can be an extra cost because there are some parents who can afford the uniform and other accessories for their children, but there are some parents who may not afford the uniform for their children. I would like to give one example. Like in some schools, the school uniforms, the shoes, and all other accessories may cost around 4,000 or 5,000 rupees. But there are some parents whose monthly income is around 5,000. So, which means that the parents are almost giving up all of their salary to buy their buy their children school uniform and other. I think so. I think we can wear anything in our own free will. Secondly, I would like to say that I strongly agree with my friend that sometimes school uniform may be uncomfortable. Yes, school uniforms may be uncomfortable because the collars sometimes may be tight, and also sometimes the clothes may be tight, and also sometimes after we like after a sports period, we may due to sweat, we sweat a lot, and so our clothes may smell. So school uniforms are very annoying. So I think everyone should have that opportunity to wear anything. But there is one thing: if we wear anything, there are some reasons that if we wear anything in our own free will, then we might wear something inappropriate or vulgar. But there is a way to prevent that. Schools should give one like schools give us dress code. They should also give us a dress code of in that we wear. Like you can wear a slightly light t-shirt, or during summers you can wear a light t-shirt or a half pant of light colors and such things. Also, I think if we wear school uniforms, then our expressions are hidden in it. The school is telling us to wear this, then we can't express. We don't have that freedom to express our expressions. So in my speech, I covered 3 points. Firstly, that uniforms cost an extra can be an extra cost. Sometimes uniforms may be uncomfortable, and also there is one reason to there is one method so that we can wear anything but not inappropriate. So my final words are that there are many disadvantages of wearing school uniform, but many advantages of wearing school uniform. But I firmly believe that not wearing school uniform is very good. It has a lot of advantages. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.
Thank you, Siddhant. And that brings us to the end of the first round, where we've had opening statements from all of our debaters. Let me first applaud you. I know you can't hear me, but you can see my hands going around. Let me applaud you profusely, because I think all of you spoke really, really well. And with that, let's very quickly run into our round of rebuttals. Now, as you know, a rebuttal is when you disagree or you point out something and that another speaker from the opposition said and you dispute it. Also remember, you have the option of passing if you don't particularly want to make a rebuttal. But as we said in the video earlier, our rebuttals are polite. You can name somebody, but taking them to task and arguing with them is a no-no. All right? So we're going to go in the same order that we began with. And let me now invite Gayatri. Would you like to make a rebuttal?
Yes.
All right, Gayatri, go ahead.
Ask somebody any question.
I don't think you can ask a question, but if somebody said something that you disagree with, you can definitely do that. But you know what? Go ahead, ask the question. And they'll answer in their turn. You know what? Let's do that.
I want to ask Aditya.
Yep.
Yes. So you told that the uniform cost so much, but I belong to Odisha Adarsh Vidyalaya. In that school, we are getting the uniforms free of cost without paying anything, and we are also purchasing dress with average cost of rupees 2000. And then you tell me which is costly, the uniform or the dress?
First of all, I would like to answer.
Yeah, the public school uniforms are also not very costly.
Sister, as you said, in your school it's free of cost, or but sister, it's not only one school in this world. It's not only one school in the whole India. There are total 1,030,000,000 people, 300 million people in this country, and there are many more schools. Not only one, there are government schools, there are private schools, there are elite schools, there are ICSE, CBSE, there are many of them. And now some particular schools are giving the uniform as free of cost, but not here. In many of these schools, in 80% of the schools, not around 80% of the school are giving the uniforms with a cost, a terrible cost. As one of my colleagues said about this too, that uniforms make a cost. And as my brother Arya said, that they stitch it too tightly. So that leads to rebuying all those uniforms again and again, and the budget increases. And he also said that a uniform is cost one third of a laptop. It's correct, and if we stay in a school for 3 years, we can buy a laptop with that money. So so I would uh, politely condemn your statement that uh, in your school it is given free of cost, but there are many other schools in this world. We can't only think about one school. There are many other schools in this country, and they are giving. They are taking a lot of money on this, so we should rather concentrate on studies instead of these uniforms. That is my perspective on your answers.
Aditya, you've already made a lengthy rebuttal, but if you'd like to add to that, I'll give you a minute. Make your point.
I agree, sister, about the statement that she gave. She said that it is uniform show the style. Actually, it's not about being stylish. It's only being about being comfortable. And the new education policy of CBSE states that all the individual needs of the students should be fulfilled, and uniform is a major individual need. I would like the response of my worthy opponent.
Said that it's a very sad, but I I don't think I said stylish exactly, but I meant like when we're dressed in a uniform, it looks really well dressed. It looks you actually look kind of confident when you're wearing a uniform. And to be in the practical side, uniform uniform actually it doesn't, like if we wear casual clothes in school, mostly people start judging you for like wearing something that doesn't suit you, or something looks very odd on you. Like people really judge, like, to be honest, people do judge us. And because of these certain small things, like it really affects a person's emotionally or mentally, and they start having inferiority complex, you know. And I guess school uniform, when one wears school uniform, usually in a school, if everybody wears a school uniform, there's no point in like being inferior, because everybody's wearing the same clothes. Like you don't feel like you're alone, or you don't feel something like, when there's less chances of being inferiority complex because everybody's wearing the same clothes. Sorry.
Shaurya, would you like to make a rebuttal to something somebody said?
Can I make a rebuttal on multiple people?
Of course, you can make it on as many people as you want. You got 2 minutes.
I'll ask both of them at the same time. Michelle, my question was, you said that British introduced uniform policy and they had some, and India had a lot of issues with it because it showed inequality. So wouldn't it have they removed it? And second, Siddhant, you said that about fitting, that it doesn't fit you. I don't think that's a very good reason to apply. I think I would say that's a very personal reason. And also you said that about dress codes, so I would say that there are barely even any school that doesn't have a very well dress code for each season. Like even in Bhubaneswar, it's a very it's in the coastal area, so why would we wear blazers? But we still wear blazers because it's in winter, we still wear blazers. So I have question on these.
Michelle, would you like to respond to that?
I did not say anything about inequality there, about the British. I said that British introduced the uniforms in schools so that everyone felt the same and they didn't ask any questions. And everyone did the same thing. I didn't say anything about inequality then.
All right. Siddhant, would you like to respond to what Shaurya said?
So, sir, respected speaker, through you, I want to answer my friend's question. So, it's not a personal problem. Actually, we students are now in our growing stage. So, okay, we bought our uniforms in a large size, but now we all are growing. So, sometimes this the school uniform may be tight because we are growing, and this not only applies to me but everyone. But there are some parents who can't afford that money to buy new clothes, so they have to wear that old clothes again and again, so that may be tight or uncomfortable or so that so I said. And
Thank you,
sir,
Siddhant.
can you repeat your can he repeat his another question?
Yeah,
Sorry, what was your second
I
point?
was trying to say, I think you said that dress codes, about dress codes and seasonal, how season, when season changes, the
No,
dress about dress codes, and I would say that it also implies on school uniforms. So why did you say seasonal changes? Because I think there are barely even any school which have no like dress codes or proper codes.
so actually, I was not speaking about dress codes. Actually, I was giving an example that like a dress code is like we are given uniform to, like we need to wear uniform. In summers we need to wear the half shirt and all that, but that same dress code applies if we don't want to wear school uniform, then we can wear in something other. But some people say that if we wear something another clothes of our own free will, then those clothes can be inappropriate. If we are given something to wear, kind of, if in our own free will, then you can wear anything you want, but it should be a light dress or a light shirt or a half pant. I was telling that.
All right. Thank you very much. Arya, would you like to make a rebuttal?
So I would like to add some of the points and I would like to make a rebuttal. So what I'm trying to say is if children are given the autonomy to decide what to wear, of course a respectable wear, then they can become better decision makers when they grow up. Like they can learn from their mistakes and become better decision makers. And nowadays many children are independent of the choice of hobby. And why not we extend it to the choice of clothing? And also many of these tailors, they always stitch a very tight clothes, and due to this mass produced commodity it does not fit all the body types. So I think there are better dresses other than a school uniform. And not only school uniforms makes us look very neat and tidy, but there are two other clothes which makes us look very neat and tidy and also charismatic. And another thing I wanted to say is one of my fellow mates said that only school uniforms shows our identity, but without school uniforms, we can we can bring the ID card to which can show our identity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Arya. That was very succinct and beautifully put. Gargi, would you like to make a rebuttal here?
Most opponents spoke against motion, stated that uh, school uniforms are expensive. But practically speaking, school uniforms are like one-time investment, Like you just buy it once a year. You don't change like thoroughly every day once a year. Like you wear the uniform once, and if you want to change it, you can change it next year if you grow a lot or if you saw growth in yourself. And if we look at casual clothes, we usually have to buy casual clothes more than once we buy a school uniform. So I want to say that.
And with one fell swoop, he broke that economic barrier. Thank you, Gargi. Siddhant, you already responded at length, but would you like to have a minute more if you have a rebuttal to make?
Yes, sir. So, sir, can I ask a question which anyone can answer?
Sure, go ahead. That's what this is for.
I had one question is that if we wear a school uniform, then we are unite, and then there is no bullying and no peer pressure. But how this applies? But after, even though we wear school uniforms, there is more bullying and peer pressure and all that.
Sir, actually, I would like to, what do we say, appreciate Siddhant for his question. It was a really nice question. And the question that he asked, why is there discrimination and all that stuff? So that depends on the personalities, because if a person knows somebody's family backgrounds, knows the not only discrimination doesn't mean only regarding gender, color, caste. It is also included in body shaming. So body shaming is a totally another topic in which the fat people, slim people, dark complexed people, and even somewhere fair people are discriminated. So in the nowadays, as you told that from wearing the uniforms, it is not becoming less. It is as equal as usually. That depends. That actually depends on the person. Whom is he discriminating, and on what basis is he discriminating? If the person is perfect in all the ways, there will be no discrimination. And you must have heard that song. "कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना." Means whatever the people want to say, they can say. We should ignore that all. So that was my answer, I guess. That's it.
Thank you so much. And I think that's the perfect note to end this debate on. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are really, really great. I'm applauding for you. I know Sonali is, I know Seema is, I know Menaka is. Menaka, would you like to say a few words to the kids about how they did?
I think, first of all of you were really, really fantastic, very enthusiastic, very, very confident in the points that you were trying to make. So well done. And I hope you all continue debating throughout throughout school and college and onwards. Just one point is that, you have a really short period of time in which to make your argument. I know that we're all trained to say our hello, everyone, welcome, sirs, ma'ams, judges, friends, all of that. Just cut out all of that. Get straight to your argument. Use your time really wisely to make your point very strongly. Don't worry about I know it's a friendly civil debate, but don't worry too much with the niceties. And I would say just do away with all of that. Don't introduce yourself. We know who you are, all of that, and get straight to your argument and to making your points. That's just some advice I have for you. But I really had fun listening to all of you, and well done.
Congratulations to all. I really, really enjoyed it. Like it was educated and entertained, and there were so many new points that I hadn't thought of. Gayatri, I really liked your vocal for local point. I didn't hear anybody bring that up, and I really liked that.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
In the news. I did notice through the whole session that there were there was this theme of repeated points, and one of the repeated ones that kept coming up was finances. And while that is an important aspect to cover in a debate, I was just thinking it would have been really nice to have a couple of anecdotal stories that are age appropriate for all of you about wearing a uniform. So it was really nice to hear someone say, well, it makes it easier to get ready for school. Or I'm not colorblind, I might not like your 4 colors. So that would have been really nice. That might have brought in some personal flavor, which I didn't really hear as a category, but I understand debates, you bring in points, that's the format, etc. Shaurya, gosh, it was so much fun, so relatable. And I really liked that you brought in you brought in studies, you brought in stories, you brought in history, there were quotes. There weren't, I don't think anybody else, did anybody bring in actual quotes and read out quotes? That was really cool. It was very all-rounded. And it was very engaging. It was I like the fact that you even did accents and bits. It was like a proper stand-up session. It was so fun. I do want to point out that sort of in the middle, I was like, wait, which side is he on? Is he for uniforms or against? And when you ended with Marvel t-shirts, I think you said, would you prefer a Marvel t-shirt or would you prefer a plain t-shirt? That was great. It was very relatable for somebody who loves superheroes and kids in general. But it didn't exactly tell me why that's better than uniforms. So I would have been good if you had sort of established your point, in the beginning, and then re-established it in the middle, and then at the end with all of the comedy bits. Well, I really, really enjoyed your show. It felt like a show. It was great. Thank you all. It was so much fun.
First category is the finest point, and that award goes to Michelle. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Michelle.
So I think Shonali and I both just really enjoyed, we both had a different set of finest points, but Michelle, I really liked that you brought in the gendered nature of school uniforms and how they only cater to boys and girls and completely discount the entire spectrum of gender fluidity in between. I thought that was really fantastic. And you're the only person who made that point, and that really stood out for me. Shonali?
Yes, so I have a different finest point, but it's also from Michelle. So articulate. I really enjoyed yours, the way that you sort of put yourself across. My finest point was when you started with the British and how they introduced uniforms, and then you graduated into independence. And then you drew the contrast of we're an independent nation, but are we raising a free-thinking country by conforming everybody with the uniform? I really liked that contrast in a nutshell, and I think that was definitely my finest point.
So congratulations, Michelle. You get yourself a voucher for ₹1,000 from our gift partner Link Pens. So you can use that to make a whole lot of finer points.
Yes. For Counter-Strike, okay. Who was it that countered Gayatri Patra?
I think that was
Aditya?
Aditya. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We weren't 100% sure.
That was Aditya.
Yes. So Aditya, when Gayatri said, in my school, our uniforms are free, and what about yours? And she sort of took you to task on that. I really, really enjoyed that you didn't just say, well, in my school, uniforms are not free and paid, but you on the spot were able to come up with all the different kinds of schools there are, the different education modules there are, and then the population of our country.
And then brought in the constitution as well.
Yes, with no preparation, and you really justified that point without any prep or thinking, and we applaud you, Menaka Naik. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also, Aditya, you very kind of, Aditya very confidently also quoted some data and research, and he was so confident in the way he kind of said 80% of all schools that I was like, okay, I'm going to believe this guy because he just...
Even if he's completely bluffing with that statistic.
Yeah, we're not sure. I was like, where do you get the 80% from? Did you, where's the 80% from? Do you want to tell us?
He's never going to tell you.
Are you going to tell
Don't tell her. You have the right to remain silent.
You win either way, though. We won't take it away from you. So you said 80%, I think it was 80% of schools in our country, have kids wear a uniform and it's paid. I think that was your statement. Would that be accurate?
Accurately, I can't tell right now.
But we just want to
know. He made that up.
Did you pull that out from your hat?
Yeah, he made that up. But he did it very well. He did it very well.
Or we just want to know where you got that stat from?
I read many articles. When I read, they gave around or almost, because they didn't even give the accurate value. Only approximately was used.
Okay, all right then.
So congratulations. Congratulations. Do check the next time you quote a stat though, from a journalist. Important to check. Menaka, you have a special mention. So.
I have a special mention for Siddhant. I really like that you brought up the point and you kind of asked this question and said that, look, you're all saying that, if you wear uniforms, then it brings down peer pressure and bullying and things like that. But how true is that? And that these things still exist even in schools where there is a uniform policy. So I think that was a very good question to ask, and good job for us.
Congratulations, Siddhant. Good on you.
For bringing up that point.
Yeah.
For the lighter side, we have Shaurya as our winner. Because you were definitely the most humorous one to sort of, you entertained us through and through. And I've already commented and applauded you on that. And we also have a special mention of Gayatri, who I think started us off.
Gayatri kicked things off in style. That was a real performance.
It was definitely a performance, and you had all of these sort of little bits that you wove in. I would like to say, if you could sort of, when you're practicing and preparing, sort of make sure that you're clear and legible, because both Menaka and I were sort of like trying to like make out, because you had, I think, 10 points.
11.
11 points.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, and that was very impressive, but we were sort of struggling to like get each point. But it was really, you were adorable.
Okay. Congratulations, Shaurya. Congratulations, Gayatri. Shaurya, you of course win yourself a ₹1,000 voucher from our partner Link Pens. So the three of you, all the very, very best. You guys have done very well. Everybody here is a winner. Remember, there are no losers. And do remember to watch out when this debate is produced. Look slicker and airs. Thank you very much, Sonali. Thank you very much, Menaka, for being here. Thank you very much, everybody. Good on you. Great work. And I hope you keep debating. I will see you soon when you guys are bigger and you're doing better debates, more serious debates. And I hope you're out there in the world debating about real things that change people's lives and policy. All right. Take care. Stay safe. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy debating. Remember, you can vote for your favorite debater right here at www.edexlive.com/debate. Remember, every vote counts. Our voting lines are open for 48 hours, so get voting right now. This debate was brought to you by the Hindustan Institute of Technology and Sciences and MEIL. Every kid has a great story to tell. Have one? Well, we're listening. Send your best story to the New Indian Express's Bookworm Junior Summer Stories Contest, and you could just end up becoming an author over the summer. What are you waiting for? Get writing.